Nike, stay at home, you ignored. Now see what you have done and brought upon this family. A child with another child. What will I tell my church people? That a pastor child got impregnated because she refuses to close her leg. Instead, she opened it like a roasted chicken. Nike, Nike.
Once upon a time, in the vibrant city of Lagos, there lived a very religious girl whose name was Nike. Nike was the only daughter and child to her parents, who were pastors and founders to a very popular church. Every member in the church wished Nike was their child. She was perfect in all aspects. She was well-mannered, she was pretty, and also intelligent. And what made it more fabulous was that she had the most melodious voice you have ever heard. When she sang in the choir, people hid from different disabilities. She was filled with the Holy Spirit. She was even called the handmaiden of the Lord. Little did they know that that was just a camouflage perpetrated by Nike. My lovely watchers, you must be really shocked. I mean, a very good worshipper of Christ. What must she be doing? Well, Nike was presently 14 years old, though she didn't look her age. Someone could mistake her for someone older. After all the Miss Goody Two Shoes facade, Nike became extremely someone else at night. She visited clubs, slept with different men, did a lot of notorious and nonchalant vices that could not be fathomed. On one occasion, after Nike and her parents had all prayed and gone to bed, Nike swiftly sprung into action. She usually dressed in a nightgown and jumped through the fence, and whenever she succeeded, she would change into her baddie clothes. Sometimes, whenever her mom, Mrs. Alero, come to check up on her, not knowing Nike had folded clothes and shaped it like a human, and she would use a duvet to close it, she would lay it on her bed and pretended that it was her. This occurrence continued. When she got to the club, she would drink, smoke, dance. Sometimes she slept with some of the men. After all the atrocities she had done in the night, on Sunday, she would sing and the Holy Spirit would fill the air. Nobody even suspected. Sometimes, after her school bus had dropped her in school, she would skip and go to a party or go see her boyfriends. Her school was one of her strictest schools in Lagos, but yet she managed to do all she wanted. Rumors had it that she tipped the gate man, and sometimes when the teachers complained to her parents, she would deny. Another thing she was very good at was that she was very good in shedding crocodile tears. The level of Nike's notoriety was alarming, but nobody ever suspected it. Her friends Onome and Cassandra were accomplices as well. They joined Nike and indulged in all kind of acts. One time, in SS2 term, Onome, who was a very beautiful girl, her dad was a politician, and they attended Nike's parents' church. Onome got pregnant. She was very scared. When she told her friends Nike and Cassandra, they went berserk. They were really disappointed on why she didn't use protection, and if she didn't want to use protection at all, she should have bought contraceptives. Onome cried, saying she didn't know it was going to turn out the way it did. She claimed her boyfriend assured her that nothing would happen. They decided that Onome would abort the child. Onome was very scared. She was filled with conniptions, but she didn't want her parents to be aware. If not, she would be a gun child. She would abruptly be disowned and left in the lunch. She didn't want that. She would risk her life for those luxurious lifestyle. She was in a state of 6 and 7s. Finally decided to abort the baby. Cassandra took her to her pharmacist. After they paid, the process started and soon it was over. She was having a severe pain, but she was told it would reduce in a couple of hours. She was happy the abortion was successful, not for her to get home, and she started bleeding. The bleeding was so intense. This made her parents worry. What did she do? They quickly rushed her to a nearby hospital. She cried and begged God to save her life and said she didn't want to die, but unfortunately, they did all they could. but she had lost too much blood, so she died. Everything happened so quick in Onome's parents' eyes. In less than an hour, their world crashed. They didn't know how to feel, if to be disappointed about the abortion or to be shocked to the death of their daughter. The news of Onome's demise soon got to the school and everybody was dumbfounded. The reason to her demise was never disclosed because of her father's status in the society. Nicole felt sick to her stomach. She felt she was an accomplice in Onome's death. Instant fever engulfed her body immediately she heard the news. She skipped school for a whole week because she felt sick. Maybe the incident about Onome's tragedy was the cause, but her world turned upside down when she fainted one Saturday morning and she was rushed to the hospital. She thought it was a minor fever, only for the doctor to tell her that she was 4 weeks gone. How? Where? Nike screamed. Mrs. Alero was too astonished. She cried and yelled. Nike could not utter any word. She just looked at the hospital tiles as if wishing for the floors to open and swallow her. The situation became more critical. Immediately she was told she had HIV. Hot tears streamed down her cheeks, with her heart slamming through her chest. Mrs. Alero could no longer take the news as she sat on the floor and wailed like a baby. Nike felt bad and sorry. She didn't want to disappoint her parents, but here she was, destroying it. She was in a big mess because her father would do worse. She had done a grave mistake and she deeply regretted her actions. She was barely 15 and she was with child. The situation sounded incredible, but it was happening. Who would have thought that the holy Nike was a slave queen in the night? She knew she was about receiving the scolding of her life. I mean, they had scolded her countless times, but she did not adhere. The disappointment in her parents' tone made her cry. It was better for her to leave the world. She begged for their mercies and also from God. She had defiled and corrupted her body, which was the temple of God. After the scolding that felt like eternity, she was finally dismissed and sent to her room. She was grounded. Abortion was not even an option. She was going to give birth to the baby. She felt empty as she laid on her bed as she reminisced all the lessons she was taught and all the atrocities she had committed. What she did in secret had now come to hurt her in public. She felt filthy and empty. Her life was ending. A lot of thoughts came to her mind, but she had already made her parents unhappy. This would kill and destabilize them. She then decided to use her situation for the betterment of her life. What could possibly go wrong? Everything had already spoiled. What was the essence of crying over spilled milk? She took her WAEC and luckily for her, she passed, and few months later she gave birth. The journey was not an easy one. In fact, it was worse than she imagined. The level of mockery, she was called all sorts of names. Her parents decided that was a nemesis for her actions because she never changed school. She continued to go to her school even after she got pregnant. When she finally gave birth, she was very happy. Mrs. Alero was happy. At least her daughter's life was saved. Though she disappointed her, but she was still alive. Nike remained hopeful even when her name was changed to A Child Bore a Child. Her parents did not abandon her. She was grateful. She continued her studies and made herself an example to young girls. She created awareness programs and TED Talks to enlighten young girls about teenage pregnancy, the stigma that comes with it. Even as at now, some feelings have not yet been recovered from her trauma. Nike made sure to tell young girls that there is always a second choice to everything. She used her second chance wisely. She really impacted lives and everybody thanked her for the enlightenment.
Young girls, zip your skirt. Do not allow any boys or friends deceive you. Peer pressure is toxic. Flee if you ever feel it. Buckle down on your studies, and I promise the sky is your starting point. Thank you.
Nike spoke in one of her TED Talks. A loud sound of applause was heard immediately she finished as she walked out of the stage.
But with knowledge, support, and courage, girls can rise again, reclaim their future, and write a different ending.